Hi, I'm back in Tahiti now, and I met a 31-feet boat with 4 youngsters on board. And just after high school, with 21 years, they decided to sail to the Pacific. And they even financed all by themselves. Welcome to Sailor's Life.
Alibaba is a Malu 40. 40 stands for the sail area, but in fact she's only 31 feet long and made already her way from Norway to the middle of the South Pacific. Hey, thank you very much for having me here on Alibaba.
Yeah, my name is Iben Pettersen and I'm the captain on Alibaba.
My name is Tiril Salvesen and I'm the co-owner of Alibaba.
My name is Lea Boyeli and I'm a permanent crew on Alibaba.
And I'm Nicholas Becker and I'm also a permanent crew.
And why are you the captain? Do you have all your captain certificates or?
No, I don't have any certificate at all, just like the small boat certificate you get in Norway, like the lowest degree, just to sail the small dinghy boats. But Tiril and me have been sailing together for many years, since we were pretty small, like 14. And usually we don't choose, like one is a captain and one is not, we sail together. But at the beginning of this trip, Tiril got injured and had to go home. And so then I was alone and I took new crew on board. And then it just became naturally that I'm the captain.
We own the boat together. We started this project together and planned this trip and decided to get some crew, and then we met these two, but it's our boat and our project, but they have joined it, so now it's our project together, the 4 of us.
What made you this decision to go sailing?
So Tiril and me were in high school and we were thinking, what should we do when we finish school? And we wanted to travel, and we had been sailing a bit with our families, and we had a small boat together in Oslo, our hometown. And it kind of just happened. We just decided to sail after high school, and we didn't know if we would make it over the Atlantic or to the Pacific, but we had this dream that maybe we can do it, and we set sail 1 year after we finished school.
Were people surprised that you were 2 girls, or?
In a way, like we gotten questions like, "Oh, where are your parents?" But at the same time, no. It's there are a lot of people sailing in Norway, also women, and I think they thought it was cool,
But they were also maybe a bit scared for our health and our safety, but mostly good reactions.
You did learn while going, huh?
yeah, we didn't know a lot before we left. We kind of learned everything on the way.
And did that work out always? Or did you make a lot of mistakes?
We have made some mistakes, but everyone do. You always learn. You are never out-learned when it comes to sailing. There's always new waves and new weather and different things to handle, like us fixing the starting engine yesterday.
But I think it made this start. We had a very high learning curve in the beginning, but at least for me, it meant that I was very scared in the beginning. I was very nervous because we didn't know. I had never reefed the sail. I had barely hoisted the front sail before. Like, we didn't know anything. So it was small steps all the way to get to know the boat and be comfortable. And I think that was one of like the biggest achievements in the start, like getting comfortable with the boat and with sailing long distances.
So that means you bought the boat and you didn't even try it out, you just started.
The plan was to, but we were also working, saving up money, and then we were fixing the boat, like changing the electrical stuff, and we just never got the time. We put the anchor once. We went out for like a sleepover and put out the anchor, and we're like, okay, now we can anchor, but we didn't do a lot.
Wow.
We were maybe a bit scared of failing. Like if you try something and you fail, then that doesn't mean you can't do it. But if you haven't tried, you don't know that you can't do it. So you just avoid trying.
I guess that's a good thing about being young.
I joined officially in Martinique in the Caribbean after having tried the boat a few times. I was sailing with a couple of friends from Denmark. We met Alibaba on the way, and I wanted to continue west, and my friends wanted to go home. So, and then, of course, I fell in love with Eben. who's also the captain, so that's a good ticket to get on board.
So you're going to stay.
I hope I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay as long as she stays, unless I get kicked off. But yeah, I'm gonna stay.
That's a cool love story, huh?
It is, yeah.
Do you think there is a difference if girls are sailing together or if you have a mixed group or boys sailing together? And in what way?
I think it's a difference in some ways, and it's very similar in other ways. I think for us the biggest difference was in the way we traveled on land mostly. Like sailing wise, we sailed as we would do with any other group. But when we came to land, we always have to take other precautions when we are sailing only girls. And at least in the beginning, when we wanted to sail for Morocco, for example, we got told that we shouldn't do it because we are only girls. And I think it maybe became like a drive for us to be like, fuck them, we do what we want, and we are girls, yes, and we will take safety precautions and we travel as a group, but we don't want to be stopped by what others think and others say. We had the same experience in going to Brazil over the Atlantic, where also people told us that we shouldn't do it and it's a different culture and that it could be dangerous for us. But we take precautions everywhere we go, or that's what we always tell people. Like even when we are in Tahiti or in France or in Norway, there's always going to be bad people. So we have always felt pretty safe in our own decisions.
Say that it's been
Interesting
to see. Yeah, interesting to see what the difference is and how it works. And also people who greet us and say captain to me because I'm the only man on board. They just assume that I'm the captain and I've got control of everything, and I just love pointing at Eben and say I don't have any responsibility. I'm just here, and they always get quite shocked. But yeah,
That's my captain.
You are very confident in sailing, but are you really also confident in the engineer part of the boat? I mean, I just saw now that you repaired a starter motor, which I think is really already fantastic. But on a boat, you often have problems and have to fix things.
Yeah. We have a very simple boat, and we try to keep it as simple as possible. Mainly first reason, we don't have the money to do anything else, but also just because it saves us a lot of work, and it means that most of the things we have on board we can fix ourselves, which is important for us. So we don't have an autopilot, we don't have a furling sail, we don't have a fridge. Things are pretty simple, and the sailing and the rigging is pretty easy to understand and have we can do most things ourselves. So I think we have gotten pretty confident in working on the boat ourselves. We want to fix it. Sometimes it's a bad solution, but usually the bad solution is also work. And I think we learn a lot from that.
yeah.
And did you learn anything about the engineering part before you left, or do you just work it out when it comes along?
As I said earlier, we were fixing the boat for a year, so we spent a lot of time fixing the boat. So that was maybe what we were most comfortable with when we left. Like we knew all the electrical stuff on board, and we knew how to change the filters on the engine, and we knew how to change oil. So then we felt like we know the most important things, and then I feel like we knew a bit. That's what we spent our time with.
You haven't got an autopilot. You're steering all the way?
Yeah.
Yep, we're set here and just steer as we go.
Okay. So one has watch and has to steer.
Yeah, we mostly do 2 hours in the night and then 3 hours at daytime, and we're on watch alone. But if anything happens and someone needs to go on deck, we just wake up someone.
Did you ever
Works
take a
out.
track if you steer straight, or?
I think we steer straight enough for not having an autopilot. Yeah.
I think it's been very good for us.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, like when I arrived at the boat, I didn't have really an idea of what this trip was supposed to be, and steering is very hands-on, and you feel the boat and you feel the powers, and you're kind of always confronted with what you have to deal with.
We have spared us from a lot of broken stuff just because you are always on watch of the wind, of if it comes high wind or low wind or the waves and the course, and you are very I don't find the English word, but you are
Aware.
Yeah, aware all the time. And for me also, it's like a fun part of sailing. When I'm on watch, then I have peace at mind, and then I feel good. If I'm sleeping downstairs and the waves feel bad and it doesn't feel comfortable, usually when I go on watch, then we breathe again.
Yeah.
And when we are 4 people, like sailing without an autopilot is no problem at all. Even though it's like one of the things people react on most. They're like, what? They don't believe it. But I think it gives us freedom also, because we meet boat that broke their autopilot and are waiting 4 months to get a part and can't sail even though there are 3 people. And for us it's, it's not a problem.
And what navigation instruments are you using?
We have, now I don't have it yet, we have the phone.
Yeah,
Navionics. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only thing we use for navigation. We have radio, and we have IES, and we have a paper chart, and that's everything. But our phones is the main thing.
Can you tell us a little bit about your route?
Yeah, we started in Oslo, and then we sailed slowly down Europe through the Kiel Canal in Germany. And then we sailed France and Spain and Portugal, and then to Morocco. And after Morocco, we went to the Canaries and Capo Verde. And then we crossed the Atlantic to Brazil, first to an island called Fernando de Noronha. And then after to mainland Brazil, São Luís, which was very good. We sailed up the coast of South America, French Guiana and Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. A little bit of the Caribbean, but we had not so much time left, so it was very like Caribbean on speed, just going fast. Then we sailed to Colombia from Martinique and Panama. Then from Panama, we usually stop in Galapagos, but it's very expensive. And we were like, but it's very far to sail to the Marquesas straight from Panama. So we had a stop in mainland Ecuador, and then we sailed to Easter Island, which was also, I think, one of the best stops we had on this trip. The plan was to go from Easter Island to Pitcairn and Gambier Islands, but we met really bad weather. So we were forced to go into the trade winds again, and we sailed to Marquesas, even though it wasn't the plan. And then we ended up in French Polynesia.
And that's where you are now.
Yes.
How much time have you spent here in French Polynesia?
We had almost 3 months last season, and then we had to go home because we had no money and our visa was expired, and also the cyclone season was coming. So we have been home, all 4 of us, working to earn some money, and now we're back, and we have stayed here for a little bit over a month, but we really want to continue west now.
How do you conserve your food if you haven't got a fridge?
Well, you do what you buy what you can that survives with no fridge. We eat simply. We don't have any cold cheese or milk or meats in the fridge because we don't have one. But we have lentils and rice and pasta and canned food and vegetables. And we never had a fridge, so we never miss it.
And it's quite easy when you go shopping because you just don't take anything from a fridge.
No,
everything
exactly.
Everything else will be fine on board.
So when we travel, like the thing that maybe gives us a big accomplishment and really makes the travel worth it is when we come to these new exciting places, and usually the places that not a lot of the other sailors are. When we come there and we feel like, okay, we have the freedom to go wherever we want and we choose to go here and we are content with our choice, that's a very euphoric feeling for us. For example, going to Easter Island and just being in such a remote place that you've only heard about, and suddenly you are there and you came there with your sails and your own boat and your friends. It's a very special feeling.
On this boat, we talk about everything. So if we are making a decision, we sit down and we talk about it. And in that way, we are together in, if it goes right, we have a victory together, and if it goes wrong, we fail together, but we're at least in it together, and it's easier that way to, or at least in the beginning, it was very important for us to talk about everything.
So the dynamic on board is very important. Like without us working so well together, this wouldn't have happened at all, and I don't think we would have made it so far. And also met so many boats with problems on the boat, but they can always fix it. But the boat with the problem in the group, it's terrible. Like living in such a small place and doing like tough stuff together, it can break you or it can like make you really tight.
So it's like you don't want to live in an environment where you have to compromise all the time on behalf of others. It's not sustainable. It won't last long. But if you give and you feel like the others are giving, and you work together, and also this is also, yeah, it might break you, like Eben said, but it's also a very good place to get to know each other.
Pretty sure you will be friends forever, huh?
Yeah, we're like a small family.
Yeah, we talked about it. We were like, no matter how far we get away from each other, like physically or in the friendship, we will always have to share this. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
This is now ours, and we will have to deal with that. It's a common memory and a common experience, no matter how far away we are from each other. But I think we'll be friends.
I hope
forever.
so.
I think so.
Yeah.
What are the plans now? Do you think about going around the world? Or you just wait and see?
We wait and see. We don't think we will go around the world, or we know because we don't have the money to travel so long, and I don't think we want to invest like so many years coming also to do it. But we really want to sail more of the South Pacific and see more islands than just French Polynesia. So we're very excited to see different cultures and different islands and smaller communities, and just take our boat to the places we have been dreaming of and the places we want to see. Will be very good.
Any advice you would give other young people who dream about this kind of project?
I would say just do it. Like, don't be so afraid. Just go with it and learn on the way, and don't think that you need to know everything before you go. Just, you can learn on the way, and you can take things step by step, and you will figure out how to do it in your way. And don't put too much pressure on yourself, like, I want to go there, I have to see this. Just start, and then do whatever feels right when you have started.
Great. I think that was really interesting what you told us, and I thank you very much for your interview. And I wish you a great trip through the Pacific.
Thank you.
And I hope I hear more from you in the future.
You can follow our Instagram.
Bye bye. See you soon again.
If you have any more questions that we haven't discussed yet, please write them in the comments so that I can ask my next interview partners about them. Subscribe my channel Sailors Life if you want to hear more facts, experiences and stories. Give me a thumb up and press the bell if you don't want to miss any of these informations.